All right, so you ever heard that story about like the bath store that, became this whole Wall Street thing?
Oh, Bed Bath & Beyond.
Yeah, yeah. It's wild,
Yeah.
right? Like, it's not some, superhero movie, but it kind of feels like that sometimes, the whole meme stock craziness.
Right.
It all started with GameStop, right?
It's easy to forget that now, like rewind back to 2021, GameStop, it was the OG meme stock. That's where this all kind of blew up.
Oh, yeah, for sure. The internet was going bonkers, right? Like, it was all over this whole David versus Goliath thing. People on Reddit taking on Wall Street.
It had that energy for sure. I think for a lot of people, it felt like for once the little guy was actually winning.
Totally. So how do we even get from, like, video games to bath towels? How'd Bed Bath & Beyond get pulled into this?
Well, GameStop was more than just like sticking it to the hedge funds, right? It was this perfect storm of different things happening all at once.
Okay, so break it down for us.
So you had a company that like a lot of people thought was undervalued.
Okay.
Then you had this whole online community that was like super passionate about the stock.
Right.
And then, and this is key, you had this new way to kind of shake up the market, the whole short squeeze thing.
Okay, time out. I know we talk about this stuff a lot, but I bet some people listening are like, wait, what's a short squeeze again?
Yeah, yeah. So like imagine betting that a company's stock is going to go down, right? You borrow shares, sell them high, hoping to buy them back later when the price tanks.
Sneaky.
Right. That's short selling. A short squeeze happens when that bet backfires.
Yeah.
Like big time. The stock goes up instead of down.
Mm-hmm.
And these short sellers, they have to scramble to buy back those shares at a way higher price just to cover their butts. So it's like this huge rush for the stock all of a sudden, and the price can go like through the roof.
Ouch.
Yeah.
Exactly. So GameStop had this massive short squeeze fueled by like tons of regular people buying up shares. But then Bed Bath & Beyond comes in.
Huh.
They were already struggling, right? Why would anyone look at that and think this is going to be huge?
Well, that's where Ryan Cohen enters the picture. To understand this whole thing, you got to understand him. He's like a big deal.
Yeah, the Ryan Cohen effect, right? Like he just had to say the word and
Yeah.
boom, stock goes crazy. But why? What made him so special?
Well, he had this almost like legendary status. He's the Chewy.com guy, the online pet store. He built that from the ground up, took on Amazon, and won.
Okay, so this is the same guy who convinced people to buy dog food online, and now he's going to save like a bath towel empire.
I know it sounds kind of wild looking back, but his strategy with Chewy, it like created this whole narrative.
Okay.
He focused on making customers happy,
Yeah.
built up this super loyal fan base, and used, all the tech stuff to like shake up a really old industry. He was the outsider who like beat the system.
Okay, so people saw that and thought Bed Bath & Beyond, same deal.
Exactly. When he bought a huge chunk of BBDY back in early 2022, the whole meme stock world, they saw it as a sign. This wasn't just some random struggling company. This was their chance to do it again, the Chewy thing. At least that's how they saw it.
So they thought Cohen was going to swoop in, wave his magic wand, and boom, Bed Bath & Beyond is back, baby.
Pretty much. Except then came August 2022.
Uh-oh, this doesn't sound good.
Yeah, it's when things went like really, really south. Cohen, he sold everything. Every single share of Bed Bath & Beyond, walked away with something like $60 million profit.
Wait, seriously, he bailed after everyone went all in on him?
He did.
Man, that's brutal.
Yeah, I think a lot of people felt like betrayed.
Right, like, wait a minute, this was supposed to be our guy.
Totally. And this is where, like, the psychology of it all gets really interesting. You see, because instead of, taking a step back and being like, okay, maybe this Bed Bath & Beyond thing isn't such a sure thing, a lot of these investors, they actually doubled down.
Oh, no, they didn't.
Oh, yeah. They fell for this thing called confirmation bias.
Confirmation bias. Is that like when you only listen to the news that already agrees with you?
Exactly. It's this thing our brains do, like this mental shortcut, where we only pay attention to stuff that backs up what we already believe, even if there's like tons of evidence that says we're wrong.
So with Bed Bath & Beyond, they were so all in on the Ryan Cohen thing that even when he jumped ship, they just couldn't let it go.
Yeah, pretty much. They were so sure he was some kind of genius and that this whole turnaround was going to happen that they just like ignored anything that said otherwise.
And this is where the whole Teddy theory thing comes in, right? That was wild.
Oh, man, Teddy. That's like the perfect example of how far people were willing to go to keep this whole Bed Bath & Beyond dream alive.
Like some next level delusion.
Totally.
Yeah.
So basically, it was this whole elaborate theory that claimed Cohen hadn't really abandoned them.
Yeah.
They said he was secretly doing this super complicated maneuver, like a reverse merger, with this other company. And the kicker, this company's stock symbol was Teddy.
Hold up. They were basing this on, like, a stock
Oh
ticker.
no, right?
Eh,
Were they checking their horoscopes for stock tips too?
It sounds crazy, but you got to remember, this wasn't just about, like, making money for a lot of these people. It was about being part of something, being part of a community.
The whole meme stock movement thing.
Exactly. And online, especially in certain parts of Reddit and YouTube, it was like these little echo chambers where these beliefs could just, like, grow and spread. Yeah, the internet can be a wild place. And speaking of the internet, we got to talk about the PP show. Like, that whole thing played a huge role in all of this.
Oh, for sure. That channel basically became like the headquarters for all the Bed Bath & Beyond believers.
Yeah.
Even when the company was doing terribly, like really, really bad, the host just kept saying, it's going to happen. Just wait any day now.
So they're basically just, like, feeding the frenzy.
Exactly.
It's kind of scary how fast misinformation or even just, like, blind optimism can spread online.
Totally. And social media makes it like a million times worse. You're constantly bombarded with this stuff 24/7. Plus those algorithms. They just keep showing you more and more of what you already want to see, whether it's true or not. And then you add in that feeling of like, oh, everyone else is saying it, so it must be true. And it's a recipe for disaster.
It's like the perfect storm.
Pretty much. And unfortunately for a lot of those Bed Bath & Beyond believers, it was a storm that cost them a lot of money.
Yeah, and that's the thing we got to remember here. This wasn't just some game. There were real people who got caught up in all of this, people who lost their savings, even their homes.
Absolutely.
And
This wasn't just a Wall Street story. It was about real people's lives.
he's like,
Really,
it's easy to forget that when you're, like, watching the stock ticker and
right.
seeing all the memes and stuff.
It feels like a game.
Yeah, but it's not.
Not a game at all. There's
Yeah.
like actual money and people's lives on the line.
For sure. So, like, what do we do? What are the takeaways from all of this, especially for, people who are like, okay, this meme stock thing sounds kind of crazy.
Yeah. I mean, it's easy to get overwhelmed. It can feel like a lot. But like, I don't want people to be scared of investing.
Right.
Like, it's actually really important for people to understand how the market works. Take charge of their money.
Yeah, it's more about being, like, smart about it, not just, like, jumping on the bandwagon because everyone else is.
Totally. Don't just blindly follow like the hype train, especially online. Be skeptical. Do your research. Due diligence, man. That's your best friend.
So, like, actually, Googling the company, not
Yeah.
just taking some, like, random YouTuber's word for it.
Exactly. Look beyond the stock price. What's the company actually do? How's their money looking? Who are they up against? What's the long game? You got to look at all of that.
It's like they always say, if it sounds too good to be true.
It probably is.
Yeah.
And this is about more than just like making money or not losing money. It's about like your own peace of mind.
Oh, yeah. Investing can be stressful.
Totally. Even when things are like going well.
I only check my, like, retirement account, like, once a year, maybe.
Right. So imagine being like plugged into the meme stock roller coaster every day. The highs are high, but the lows are low. It's a lot to handle emotionally.
So, like, take care of yourselves out there, folks. It's about more than just money.
Absolutely. And that's like the other big takeaway here. You got to have emotional intelligence when it comes to investing.
Okay, so what does that even mean?
It means being like real with yourself about your own biases.
Yeah.
Know what makes you tick, and don't let your emotions make your money decisions for you.
So easy to say, hard to do.
It is. But next time you see one of those like hot stock tips or whatever, you feel yourself getting pulled in, just like take a second. Ask yourself, is this legit or am I just caught up in the hype?
That's good advice.
Because at the end of the day, knowledge and being real with yourself, that's the best way to avoid ending up in another Bed Bath & Beyond situation.
Totally. All right, folks. That's our deep dive into the wild world of meme stocks, underdogs, and, not going broke.
Don't forget, investing should be empowering. It shouldn't feel like you're going to have a panic attack. Stay curious out there, be critical, and as always, happy investing.
And on that note, we'll see you next time.